What's going on, guys? This is Shaggy, and I'm coming to you with the third installment of Shaggy's Major Haul for 2011. Toy haul, that is. This one is going to be pretty much wrestling figures. I forgot to mention them when I was going through what the videos were going to be. Anyway, a friend of mine, I don't pick up a lot of wrestling figures anymore due to the price increase, but a friend of mine had to downsize his living quarters. They had twins late last year, and they had to move out of their house into a smaller place, and they just didn't have room to store all of his collectibles. So he sold me a lot of his stuff, or he gave me first dibs on it, and so I picked up quite a few things from him. He sold, from what little bit I picked up, he's probably sold about 10 times that much per figure. I mean, he had a bunch of Rey Mysterios. He sold all those and whatnot. But anyway, I'm just rambling now. Let's go ahead and move on to the figures. First figure I picked up was one that I had wanted for a while, and that is the Boogeyman. If I ever do stop motion wrestling, I was always wanting to use one of these figures, so I'm kind of glad I finally picked one up in case I ever do decide to start doing that. But there is the Boogeyman. And this figure I've already got, but mine's autographed, and the guy was really cool. Then that is Sabu, the classic line, Sabu. I've already got one autographed, so this one I can open if I want to. Back when I was collecting, I was buying a lot of classics, and one thing that stuck out to me was the classic 3-packs. And I was trying to get as many of those as I could, and this is one that I just happened to pass on, and that is the Hogan, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and Jimmy Hart 3-pack. For one thing, I'm not a big Hogan fan. I almost picked it up when I met Brutus the Barber Beefcake back in the day, but we'll set that. Oh, that's not going to sit there. Let's just set it there. Put these off to one side or the other. He also had some microaggressions, which I would never consider even buying these, but he threw them in for like $1. And there's one of his Rey Mysterios, his prize collection, which I picked up. But anyway, like I said, I would have never normally would have bought one of those, but oh well. He also sold me a bag of these little wrestlers that came with little play sets back in the day. It has a bunch of different guys in there. It's got The Rock. I have no clue what I'm going to do with them. There's Billy Gunn, Kane. I think there's an Undertaker, a couple Stone Colds, Triple H, Edge. Anyway, he sold me those. Like I said, I have no clue what I'm going to do with those yet. And let's go ahead and move on. Oh, accessory-wise, he sold me a thing of belts that he put together. A bunch of them. $1 Million Man belt, the spinner belt, the John Cena US spinner belt, undisputed title, light heavyweight title, ECW title, WCW title, NWA TNA title, the X Division title, and a Hasbro. He didn't actually sell me the Hasbro title, but I picked that up at the flea market. The lady had a bunch of those, so I picked up quite a few. Picked up 2 of that belt, and to go with my $1 Million Mans. And I also picked up another accessory I needed, the Brutus the Barber Beefcake's clippers. Didn't have those, have the figure, but didn't have the clippers. Now let's move on to to open figures. I do have a couple carded figures, so I'm going to save those to the end. But I got a Tajiri from him. I was trying to build some ECW figure sets at one time, and Tajiri was one of them I missed. And one that I've actually, Tommy 41339, I believe his name is, has already offered me something for this, and I really don't want to get rid of it. I have an open one, and now I've got I had a carded one, now I have an open one. I'm not a Hogan fan in the least. In fact, I'm not a big fan. Never have been much of a fan of his. But that figure is just cool, and he's going to drop his belt. Anyway, and the last carded figure I picked up was one that I thought was really cool. Again, I don't know why I didn't pick it up when it originally came out. Got the blue version of the Nature Boy. Woo! I like that coat that he has on him, or robe, whatever. Now let's move on to my last two carded figures. I actually owned this Flexum, but I was told, or my ex-girlfriend persuaded me into trading it to my friend, and he ended up giving it back to me. And he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. That being Eddie Guerrero. He knew I collected Eddie Guerrero figures, so he gave it back to me. I'm not a big Flexum fan, but I had to get Eddie. And my last figure I'm going to show you, I've actually already have one, so I'm going to be able to open this one if I want to. And it is also another Eddie Guerrero that came with Rey Mysterio, and it was from their feud right before Eddie passed away. You can see Rey Mysterio's mask's ripped off, and he's holding Rey Mysterio's mask in his hand. Thought it was pretty cool. But he also sold me some hats, and I've put them in a box. If you guys want to see a video on it, leave a message. I could only find one of them. I'm not sure what I did with the rest of them, but he sold me a bunch of old souvenir hats. If you, like I said, if you want to see these, shoot me a message and I will review them or show them off. But anyway, that's my wrestling haul for this year. I know I didn't pick up very much wrestling, but like I said, with the prices and price increase and whatnot, I couldn't afford to buy a whole lot of them. But luckily a friend of mine stepped up and sold me a bunch of his stuff. Anyway, that being said, stay tuned. My biggest one is going to be coming up next, and it's going to be a long one. Anyway, take care, you guys. See you next time. Shaggy out.